were, we invited them to come give us an update.
Well, I don't have
Welcome,
much
guys.
update. I've got the man here, King. there.
Well, you got your second man
Yeah.
behind you there too, don't
I got my first and second man. But, well, I think we've got about, what, 5 projects?
you?
6 projects that we've got in run. And for your advice on the 9 Mile, I think it's what, number 3?
It was number 3.
Number 3.
Okay, that was the thing, was they were concerned, they didn't know if they were on the list.
They're on the list, they're like number 3. And we've submitted one and got turned down on it. And we're still working on trying to get the rest of them in. So it's not like we've been sitting on our hands.
Would you just share, maybe you, Rick, somebody, and what these projects
Rick,
are?
I'm gonna let Rick do that
Yeah.
because he knows more about it than I do.
I've got actually a breakdown that lists all of them. There's actually a 7th project that's an upgrade of some existing things that need replaced, a tank and some lines that need replaced. But this breaks them all down. It's broken down into sub areas and stuff. And we've got a 4 mile, a 2 mile, 6 mile, 9 mile ranger area and then Aaron's Creek. And this breaks it down to, the number of customers, estimated cost, and then a couple of things funding agencies normally look at is the cost per customer and the customers per mile. If you'll notice on the customers per mile, most of them are relatively low, which doesn't mean they can't be funded, but it does make it more of a challenge. The houses are a little bit, far apart in all those areas. And, that's the way most water systems are built. You get the, you go through the heavily populated areas, and then you have the branch lines and stuff left over. But we've submitted all 6 of these to the Abandoned Mine Lands Program because they have lots of money, but unfortunately, all 6 of them were deemed to be not impacted. The Ranger Bottom one has been submitted to the ARC, and as Bud said, we're not successful on that one. And the rest of these, the PSD cannot apply for small cities, and I believe the county has chosen a different project for these small cities. If it's funded, then, small cities will be a possibility in the upcoming year if the previous project, I guess, was funded, which it may be, I don't know. Apparently, the decision's not gonna be made until after the election.
I thought it might be last week or something that didn't happen.
I had heard before the election, and then now I'm hearing after the election.
Probably not enough money going around.
Well, they don't have a lot of money. I mean, they've had some split year funding on some previous projects, which kind of obligated some of this year's money for last year's project, so to speak. So they do not have a lot of money.
I received a call today from Freddie Smith on Harlow's Fork at 4 Mile. And she said that the water was within half a mile from her house and wanted to know when could she expect the water. I told her that you are coming tonight and I would ask that question.
About the only answer I can give you to that is when we can get the money. And I seen in the paper, one of the little articles was some lady had commented that she talked to some of us, and I don't know who, but we had told her that we didn't see her getting water in no way in the near future without a grant. And this is true. I mean, we're not allowed to make money over there. So without a grant or some other funding, we're not gonna be able to get anybody any water. But we can just submit it, and like the Ranger, when we get turned down, we just submit it again until we get it.
Not to be political, but I hear these ads on TV, said, vote, you're an energy person, vote that, for energy. Well, if you want water, you better vote for people who don't provide you water. But that's where it's at. I mean, it's sad. It's sad, but that's what it is. And everybody don't have the same needs. We have more rural areas and maybe some other places, and it's just hard to deliver water. It's
Yeah.
like it is road.
But
That we need something.
we've got a good team with these people doing our workforce, I believe, and if we can get the money, we'd be more than glad to jump in and start putting in water for everyone.
Now, and I agree, Rick has proven himself well. from the time we worked with Logan BSD solely until he went to E.O. Robinson and still helping, with these projects. We've always been happy with Rick, and glad that you guys have got him on board. I think that in the long run, we'll all be better off. What about the 10 mile? I know we're,
They're, got one more stage a bit, and that's cleaning up. Everything's,
everybody's gonna get water, had the opportunity.
yeah, they know. Anybody wants to hook up, can hook up. I mean, it's ready.
Wonderful.
I was talking to them before I left this evening, and most of them, I think, are hooked up. But the only thing they got left to do is, go back and clean up, fix a few driveways, and maybe sow a little bit of grass where they went through people's yards and stuff. But the line is in the ground.
And the water rates that you all have at Branch Media are still pretty low, is that correct? I know they've been gradually going up, but I was thinking,
I can't remember what they are right off, but this 10 mile didn't change it any.
okay, that's where I was getting.
That's what we've been working toward, trying to get it funded to where it won't make the rates so outrageous to people.
Now, they talked to somebody from Wayne County, and I think they were talking about coming in from Wayne, they were gonna pick up a few houses ahead of 4 Mile on the Wayne-Lincoln line, but I never did, I've been trying to think who told me that, one of the guys spoke in Wayne County, but, I was thinking that, may help us a little bit. If they come down, maybe we eventually come a little farther.
Yeah,
But they were willing to help us, I know, because we helped them on the 37. Okay.
Well, can I ask Rick a question about Man's Knob? I received a call from Argus Coal and said that they were not going to cover Man's Knob. Can you enlighten the public that Man's Knob is going to be receiving water?
Yeah, they're building it now.
Okay, could you put that on tape so they can see? Because there has been rumors that Man's Knob was not going to get water, and they were upset over that.
They've been working on that for a month now, and put in several thousand feet of line. Anybody that lives up there should have been able to see them up there digging.
Well, I gave,
I'm not sure where that rumor came from.
well, the man from Argus Coal said Clovis Mans had called him, and one of the guys from the Logan PSD had told Clovis that they were not going to go any farther up the mountain. And I gave the guy from Argus Coal, I gave him William Basin's telephone number so he could call him and get all the information, because I didn't want to tell him anything false.
I know what that's regarding. I'm aware of that situation. I think that Logan has talked to Clovis, and also there's a couple other individuals up there, and I believe he's going to contact the commission about that.
Just want to make sure.
And we do still have the money in the project on Big Ugly that Mr. Eldridge's got when he was still in the House of Delegates.
Yeah, but, Logan County has a construction crew, and they can work, sometimes they can work for 2 or 3 weeks uninterrupted, and then other times, if they have a bunch of leaks or problems like they're having right now, they have to pull that crew off, so it takes longer to and plus I believe they've been into a lot of rock up on Man's Knob, so I would anticipate it's going to be probably late spring before Man's Knob is complete, before they could even, address the big other area.
We're still holding the money, so. Okay, anything else from anyone?
I was just wondering, on this, the 4 Mile area projects and stuff like that, if we just want to look at doing small city block grants, so whenever we get to that, would you look at doing all this or trying to get a couple of them done? I'm just looking at the total amount we're looking at with it. Did you want to make sure you keep all of it together, or if we could
Tracy.
go for, I know like the ARC may not approve, I don't know, like the range area, they may not approve or whatever, but if they look at numbers of customers per miles for Trace Fork and Harless Fork and things like that, or and total then is like 2.6 million. But my question is does one of these have to be done before the other or anything like
Well,
that?
the Ranger sort of needs to be done before Aaron's Creek. But like on 4 Mile, that could be phased to make smaller projects that were easier to fund.
Okay.
And some of those can be phased. Because, you know, ARC and small cities both are limited to $1.5 million. So,
Right.
you know, without trying to impact the rates any more than necessary, we need some grants for about all these projects in order to make it feasible.
I don't know if the question you're getting at is one that we've been asked, how do we establish who gets what first or whatever? Well, the way we've tried to do it this time is the people that's been on a project and got cut off like the first since we've been there. Now, I don't know what happened before we got there, but we told them, you know, we're gonna get you in here as soon as we can. So we're trying to take care of what we told first. If, you know, if they got cut off,
Right.
we're trying to get them before we hit something that's never been even started.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the total size of each time you went after a small cities or an ARC, because I know the 10-mile one we got we got through ARC, I think that was about the biggest one they'd give at the time. It was about 1.5 million or whatever it was. And they maxed out what they could give and things like that. And sometimes, in talking with those people and being involved with that, sometimes they look at, a lot of, I think what they look at is the other funding involved with them and things like that. Like, they may not want to go a total cost of a project of one, whereas if we matched it matched some money some other way, they may be more willing to do that. Things I know with the 10-mile, we got an 800,000 0% loan over 30 years or whatever.
30,
if that.
40 years, yeah.
And that kind of a combination
Yeah.
seemed to like that
Yeah.
pretty well. So, but anyway, I was just thinking as far as in applying for that, are you going to reapply the next time for the ARC for that Ranger area thing?
We do it every time we get it.
Well, I mean, it's the district's decision, but I understood that they were.
Right. And say we couldn't get an ARC, would you look for the small cities block, that if we could get one approved for that area to go for the Ranger project? Is that what you're saying, or?
Well, we sort
Would
of
you
thought
want to go
maybe,
for the?
we thought maybe of the small cities for a different project.
Okay.
The decision on who gets the small cities in the ARC rests with the governor. So, if you're not gonna get an ARC, you're probably not gonna get a small city, so.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
what we were thinking was, you know, we go for an ARC on this one, and then whenever.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because the small cities block, we're kind of committed down the line, I think, with, some other things in the county and things like that, but that's why I was wondering how, we want to look at what's the most feasible to get quickest and things like that, and maybe that route of the ARC again, or whatever might be something you want to continue to hit with that, because, I think the small city block grant, we'll get into that area, back into that area soon, but I think where we use Route 37, we have small cities on it, I think, and things like that. So I think has always been the intention of the commission to bounce back and forth between areas of the county to use that small cities block grant money, so.
Especially regional small cities.
Right. And so, but anyway, I just want, we wish we had all the money to put all these places, and I understand those people on 4 Mile, we talked many years ago about, they thought they were being funded, and then something happened to the money and things like that, and you know how people think about things like that.
What happened on that was during the time that gasoline and everything started going up, and
Right.
the price of pipe
Well,
got doubled or something.
Yeah.
Got to these areas that we didn't get.
But I wanted to echo what Mr. McCann said about getting this fella working with you all and stuff. I think it's a big plus. I mean, I've seen nothing but good things out of him, and contrary to what we've seen with some other people before, it's hard when you guys volunteer your time to do jobs for the people, and then you don't have good people trying to help you and things like that. But I think you got a good one with this one, and I think it's a good decision to bring.
They leave you in the dark too much.
There you
don't know
go,
what
there you
they're doing
go.
when
Yeah,
they-
all of us, yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right.
But see, we have been submitting these things all in one big group too, about, $11 million or something. All those kind of things. And we got to talking over it one day, and we thought, well, what about breaking down into
Right.
whatever we've got now? Because you may get 2 million funded quicker than you would 11 million. And somebody can get something out of
And
it.
just, I've got both of you here, all three of you, we still, in this year's budget, I don't know how mmany years down the road it's gonna be with coal severance money, but we do have $50,000 for each of the PSDs in this budget year. If you have, you know, self-help type extension project, you can come back to us and ask about that.
We've got something we're working on, ending on 10 Mile out County.
Right.
And we're hoping maybe we can do something with some leftover from 10 Mile.
And just, that made me think something else. I had written a letter with Judy about a month ago to Mr. Ellis about trying to make sure we got our money that was promised, or whatever the right word is, from Rock Springs to help us with that, because ahead of 10 Mile, they were interfering with the public, with the water there. And so they committed to get us that, and we had never received it. So this second letter we sent, and I talked to him on the phone, he gave me where to send it to and hold and all this, and we sent the letter, and this week I was talking with Bubby there about that, had to check on it, and come find out, they have sent the money and sent it directly to the project, to the PSD for the project. So I did want to make sure that we go on record that Rock Springs did come through with their money for the upper part of 10 Mile.
I think Michelle told me January, matter of fact.
And I'm sure they're glad that people on 10 Mile are getting that water too.
Oh,
That way
yeah.
it saves them a lot of aggravation.
Yeah.
There was a lawsuit, and that's why they stepped up
Yeah.
quick. It was, you know, that was part of the agreement. We'll give this money, the lawsuit disappeared.
Yes.
We appreciate what you guys do.
Well, we appreciate you all too helping us all you have on
Okay.
getting things going.
Thank you, sir.